So, I am back. You know I am not. Until I lift the camera up a little bit. It is time to wake up. Pay attention. So, I'm hoping you can see me because I can't see the camera because it's facing that way. So on this video, I wanted to finish talking about the background or the wall. So I looked at the first wall video and I see that I left out a couple of things on the yang, or y'all say yang, side of the wall. The yang or yang side is about, well, this wall is about my life because this is about my Kung Fu. Duh. So anyway, so this side is about what I have manifested. So I actually had, like, the certificates and stuff up there, but I like, uh, so I took that down and I just put up a few pictures of New York, Virginia, Georgia, and now I'm in California. I am the Afro wandering Tao teacher type guy. So, in this video, let's get to the point, Bates. In this video, I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I forgot about in the last or in the first video, and then I want to give a good explanation of the yin side of the wall, because this is the whole concept. I got Bruce Lee's picture up there, but he is not our God or anything like that. So I don't worship no one, nobody, no thing. So this wall is about the concept of the Tao. Everything is Tao, however you want to pronounce it. So let's get to it. The first thing I forgot was my superhero, the real life superhero of my life. Let's look at it. When I was living on the beach, I met a brother that, he's an artist, so he used to draw all these things. So I had him draw a picture of my superhero, Muhammad, or y'all might say Muhammad Ali. You understand? Now, I wish he would have wrote a book, but he didn't. Excuse me. Excuse me again. So, Muhammad Ali is a real life superhero to me, and the boxing, again, is part of my Kung Fu. So, on another level, Mike Tyson, I won't say he's my hero, but he was he is a super being who also was a super boxer, and he kind of got his motivation, or part of his motivation came from Muhammad Ali. But nowadays, he's out there with land not too far away from where my land is, and he's growing the holy herb. And I have a picture of him as a boxer, but this is a picture of him obviously using the holy herb. So he's a super athlete using the holy herb. Now, I also have the T.A.O brother, was named Billy Blanks. Now, the reason I have Billy Blanks up here is because now he was a fighter in tournaments, in karate tournaments back in the days, and then he made a couple of movies. But the reason I have him up here, because he pretty much showed that martial arts can be a commercial endeavor. In other words, he has built an empire, teaching what he called Tai-Bo, and now his sons and stuff are taking it over. So he showed besides the boxing, he showed that martial art can make like money. So I also forgot to talk about my two pieces of art. I think maybe I talked about the tiger. So these are some art pieces that I made. So on the on the yang or yang side, we have the crouching tigress. See, in yin and yang is the tigress, and the male is the dragon. So I made the tigress crouching in the moon, and then I cut it out and I painted a board black, and I actually I think I painted it purple, but the purple is so dark it looked black, so I just made it like that, because the purple was supposed to be like the nighttime. But anyway, so then I'm on this side of the wall, the yin side, we have the hidden dragon, and I cut that out and then painted the board white. So right in the center here, we have the yin inside of the yang or yang, and we have the yang, the white, inside of the yin. And let's not to forget, welcome family of Kannabis Kung-Fu. So what else did I forget? Well, I added this. This is Magu Xian Show, which I should have opened up the video with. So, let me see. I'll explain. Well, no, I'll do it now. This picture, let's see if I can get in here. This picture is when I was living on Venice Beach out here in California. That box in back I was sleeping in, and I had this table and everything on top of the box, so I would set up my little business in the day, and that's where I got my certificate for the church and everything while I was living on the beach. And then I got my first apartment. This was the first temple, and the people that I brought there set it on fire and burnt it up. So I went back to New York for a year and ended up in a shelter again. So I came the hell back to California. Now this is where I'm at today, and I'm moving. This is the land. Now this is the symbol for the Kannabis Kung-Fu. This is, I'm going to have to do my own, but this is the symbol for the Daonomics. Now this is a symbol for the whole temple. The yin and yang in the center with the 8 trigrams around it. But the yin and yang is also the ankh, so it represents the ancient Kemetic or Egyptian as well as the T.A.O. And then we have the cannabis leaf in the center. And from this raw land that I have, I want to build a place with domes and stuff like this. So we'll get into that a little deeper later. And then this is the actual, I'll show it live. This is the actual, we call it, or the holy chalice. So this is where I actually started making my Kannabis Kung-Fu. So that's a whole story by itself that I have to talk about. So let's talk about the yin side of the wall. So where I have written, welcome family of Kannabis Kung-Fu, that will be, or that is the blackboard. So right now I've had this for the last couple of videos. So what it is, when I give a lesson, I will erase that and I will write up there whatever the lesson of that video is in this area here. So this is the blackboard. So if you look at it, I made it into a circle. These pictures represent pretty much the whole concept of T.A.O. So like I said, so on this side, we start out with the hidden dragon. So the hidden dragon means that there's a force within you that you have not developed until you do specific types of exercises. So the first one, well, of course, I have the marijuana leaf. So this is the marijuana side, and down here we have the hemp side. As you see, the hemp is pointed up, and these are all the things that the hemp plant can do: nutrition, textiles, food, oil, housing, fuel, etc., etc. So we start with the plant, but then when you come to the school, the first thing you learn here is Wu Chi. Now, Wu Chi means it's like the nothingness or things that are not formed yet, but that the black dot in the center actually means that there is the potential for things to form. And the Wu Chi also represents stillness. So when I really get into explaining it, the second part, I'll go outside. I'll go outside and show the Wu Chi stance and breathing. From Wu Chi stillness, it starts to move and creates yin and yang. So Wu Chi is one, but when it starts moving, it creates yin and yang. From yin and yang, to change from yin and yang takes 5 phases. So each one of these now, I'm going to have a whole subject separately on. So the 5 phases, there's a lot. There's 5 tastes of diet, the 5 elements as far as the weather or environmental things. The 5 phases are deep. That's some deep shit. So the 5 phases of yin and yang, or changes from yin to yang, creates the 8 trigrams. Yeah, that's me in the middle or in the center of the 8 trigrams. I'm there representing yin and yang. So the 8 trigrams now also represents the 8 directions. So when, like, if I'm standing in the middle of the room, there are 8 directions: north, south, east, west, north, south, northeast, northwest, and you know what I'm saying. So now from the 8 trigrams, somebody said, well, let's make 8 upper trigrams and 8 lower trigrams. So we go from the 8 trigrams, or bagua, to the 64 hexagrams. Now, if you take 8, which you see on the top, 8 trigrams, which are the heaven trigrams, and then you see on the side the lower trigrams, and you put them together, they make hexagrams. So in this chart, you can see that when you combine the top 8 with the lower 8, you get 64 hexagrams. Now, this is a binary code. It's not belief in some god, like making Bruce Lee a god. Bruce Lee is here because he represents the Tao side of what I teach. And he has, or he did, write books that I got into when I was younger. So part of my system is based on his Jeet Kune Do. Okay, so in this schematic, you see everything is square. You got 8 at the top and 8 on the sides, and when you combine one here and one there, it comes up with these numbers. So in the book, all we do is look at the number, and you'll see what the hexagram is. So here we also have it in a circle. The 64 hexagrams in a circle, and of course at the center, I placed my Kung Fu emblem. My Kannabis Kung-Fu emblem is right there with my fist, and again the 8 trigrams. But the cannabis plant represents the 5. The cannabis plant around the fist represents the 5 elements. Wow. Okay, it's not really difficult. Now we get into difficult. Well, not necessarily difficult, but scientific and deep. This here is I'm losing my camera here. It's kind of like turning away. But anyway, I can't make the camera straight because I will knock all the stuff over. Well, maybe I can make it shorter. How about that, Bates? So I can, like, get in there. Okay. Yeah, let's make it shorter. Okay. Now I can get like closer than close, but you got the shadow. But anyway, so this here is a cube that contains all 64 of the hexagrams, and on one side, and then on another side, it has the 64 codons of DNA, not my DNA, not just your DNA, of DNA. Get this in your head. This is not a joke. It is not a belief. The 64 hexagrams are the same, or I should say, are a binary code that shows how DNA comes into existence. It's the same thing. So I'm going to get into that. Like I said, each one of these around here, I'm going to have to get into individually. So then I added this part, which is the, there you go, that shadow, god dang nabbit, which is the Roy Bates Bank. And I'm going to talk about all that. You know, this is just the corner, the southwest corner. southeast corner where you have wealth and cash flow. So I got to talk about all this area. That's a whole video by itself. So when you finish, you got your wealth, you got your health, and and your martial art. Those are the three things that I am teaching and certifying consultant instructors in. So this right here let me tighten this thing, God, moving around and so this right here is a chart showing the Tao alchemy. It's a lot of what you call it, not allegory, but they're showing the organs and things and how they all related in the body. There is nothing like this in American medical system. Nothing, zip, zero, nada, nothing. This is the Tao. I hate to say Taoist, but this is the Tao inner alchemy anatomy chart. There's nothing like this. They got bones, they got blood, but this is about your life force, your energy. And then we get back to the gong, which I will also make a video about why I beat my gong at the beginning of the videos. So I think that's about it for the wall. I have explained the yang side. These are the things, that I have manifested. My little short career in the Marine Corps, me and Sifu, myself and my student, Sifu MC, da 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 da. I explained all that. And that's about it. So what I'm going to do next, I will be getting into each of the books that I have spread out because they're each about the Tao, but they all are on different subjects. Ain't that cool? Ain't that cool? So everything on this wall is about the Tao, and when I'm over there, it's about ancient. Well, I'm not going to say it's about ancient Kemetic. That's what I practice for my soul power. Now, you may not be spiritually connected to that, so I have stopped talking about that, and I let you decide what your spirituality is. The spirituality of this side is, and actually that side too, is cannabis. And we're not just talking about sitting around smoking all day. We're going to get into the healing side. We're going to get into the people who have not allergies. There are people who actually get sick when they smoke, but they keep on smoking. So we're going to talk about that. Disorders. Um, we're going to talk about cooking with cannabis. Both when we say cannabis, we mean both hemp and the marijuana. So we're going to talk about a whole range of things, and we're going to talk about how cannabis is the foundation. When I say all that, Magu Ziansho, divine marijuana brings immortality. I'm not joking. We have the elixir of immortality. I'm out. Peace. Now I gotta Now I gotta turn the camera. Peace. I gotta turn the camera off. So I do it. Oh. Did that turn it off?